what do you guys think about Southgate quitting England?
I think as of Southgate, there's two sides to this now. During the Euros, I was hearing like, "Oh, Southgate's gotta go. Southgate's gotta go. Southgate out. Southgate this. Southgate that." Right? And then now that he resigns, I read the comments of some of the videos, and they're like, "You guys are crazy. Southgate deserves to keep going because he's gotten us to two finals, this and that, better than we've ever done." So there's mixed reactions here.
I mean, everything's in his name. Things go south. Southgate.
Southgate.
Not the right gate or the north gate going forward. It's going south. But I mean, I don't know who's I don't get those comments, to be honest. I think everyone knows that England play horrible football in this Euro Cup 2024. Lucky for them that Switzerland didn't go through.
I see both sides to the story, definitely. It's true that England has never ever been to a final, let alone two like this, with his 8 years in charge. But you gotta admit, for the golden generation, England's arguably the best generation at the moment. Underperforming like this, playing terrible football, I think it's time to go, to be honest.
And not just that, going to a final and getting dominated like 80 to 85 minutes of the game.
Right?
That's crazy.
That is wild.
How do you see this, Ton?
I think
Which side are you on?
I'm on Southgate out, man.
Southgate out?
I've been thinking that he should have been out a long time ago, to be honest, because I think he has been in there for too long and nothing has changed. In my opinion, he's just wasting England's golden generation. There's so many talented players in every position. They're still very young, and they all play really well. But the way they're playing, like you guys mentioned, terrible football, and they barely you know, scrape wins against teams that are not that great. And you know, those teams push them to go to penalties and stuff, and they barely beat them. So it's not convincing to me at all. He's had, you said 8 years, right? 8 years to turn it around.
Yeah.
And that's changed. Sure, they made the final again, but you know, there's no point if you don't win it, right? So, I mean, if you want to keep him and maybe keep making finals and keep losing, go ahead. But I think this change should have been made a long time ago. But yeah, he resigned, so we'll see what happens.
Here's another question for you guys. Is this 4 years too much? He's been there for 8. Was it 4 too much? Or was it 7 too much? Because they didn't seem to be really improving playing style-wise.
I'll say this. Before this Euro Cup, England was playing much better. I remember even when they lost to France in the past one, I even thought they played better than France. It just happened that France scored. Then after that, next games, like you said, there was no improvement. And then, you know, I think they did need a new coach. But then now also the other thing is like, how much responsibility do the players have when they're also underperforming? Like,
so since you brought that up, you said that France versus England played really well, right? Under the same coach, Southgate. Are you saying that the players are at fault for not improving and not playing well?
Again,
Or would you say it's Southgate's fault?
I think it's more. I always go with the coach first. There's something that the coach is not doing right, especially if like they played really well in that match, and then after that, it looked like their football became worse, even though they had better players. I think the players start to blame too. But if you have that much talent, it's like the coach needs to do something with it. And I give an example: Real Madrid always has a bunch of stars. Madrid doesn't care which star they have. They'll bench them if it motivates them to play whoever's in it to play better. In this case, I never saw them like benching Bellingham, benching Foden when they're really not doing great.
I agree.
And
with
I'm not
that.
saying that those players should be benched. That's just an example, right? I don't want people in the comments. Why do you want to bench Bellingham? He scored a bicycle kick.
Bicycle kick.
Which actually is some of the comments, and they were saying Southgate had no backbone.
I agree with that.
He wasn't willing to bench underperforming guys this Euros like Foden, like Kane, especially. I think it's a valid statement.
Yeah, and I also hear a lot of the times he has favorites and also picks his favorite guys too. I don't know how true that is, but yeah, if that is the case, then it makes sense why he doesn't bench certain guys, and that doesn't really help the team at all. I mean, just look at this Euros and you see Kane has been playing terrible since the beginning, and he's been starting like every game. So,
but I do agree that I think in general, whether it's his fault or not, I think England just needs new management, right? But then we go back to the players, and it's just like think about Spain. Every time they had great players, their football only grew. They never went down. And they always had a horrible striker, but they play as a team. And I think that's something that I think we mentioned in previous videos, that England looked like everyone was just playing for themselves. It's like the middle and the forwards, they just playing for themselves, trying to make good plays, by individual good plays. And it's like the defense is just playing by themselves, trying to block everyone who's coming through. But there's no connections being made. There's no moving forward passes. There's no tactics in their football, if that makes sense.
Mm-hmm. I see what you're saying.
Okay, so what about this? I read a statement, and I don't know if it's true. Foden said that he feels sorry for Southgate because during practice, Southgate demands like high pressing and fast football, fast passing or whatever. And in game, they don't seem to play like that. So, and on top of that, Southgate was also kind of the reason why they went this far to the finals. Because if you guys remembered, he subbed in Tony, which was one of the PK takers, and he scored his with ease.
Could you start from here?
He also subbed in Ollie Watkins near the end of the game for Kane, and Ollie Watkins scored and sent them to the finals.
And I guess in the final, he did subbed in Palmer, which scored the 1-1, I guess.
For the goal.
Yep.
So yeah, I mean, I think like I said, I'll stay with I think in general you still need a new coach to be able to motivate you, and if they're not playing your football and stuff like that. And if he quit, that should show something that was not working within the team, whether it was the players, whether it was him. I think it's the players mostly, but he also quit as there's nothing. No, I don't have the methods to help this team. I think that's why also he could have quit. And again, like because players to me seemed that they were playing individually rather than as a team.
If they
Comment on
could
it?
play as a team, maybe it would have been a different story. But there are rumors that they're trying to get Pep Guardiola.
I heard that that's not yeah, there's a rumor, but I don't think it's gonna happen.
I think he'd rather go to Spain first before going
Yeah,
to England.
I hope he goes to Spain. But if I were him, knowing his track record, he would choose the team with the better players, which at the moment would be England.
At the moment, he needs to. No. England sucked.
well, I think if England though, if they can get like a good coach, then maybe they'll be okay for the next World Cup. They do have the talent. It's just getting the chemistry better and making sure they play, I guess, better football. So, but yeah,
I think I typed this out in our group chat. Let me find it real quick.
Okay, let me end this video about England and Southgate. Leave it in the comments. Who do you think is a fault? Southgate, the players, or both?
And leave why too.
Yeah.
let
Okay,
us know.
Okay, we gotta talk about Spain now, so we could lift the curse. But anyways, anything else you just want to say about football? Should we move to something else, another team? Or should we head on next?
Who should we hate on next is crazy. Anyway,
who do you guys want to be finished, guys? Leave it in the comments. Leave it in the comments.
yeah, we'll look
Yeah.
into it and we'll let you know if they're finished or not.
And wait for our next video. It's coming out. It's football finish.